We all experience moments of self-doubt. Times when we feel like our efforts are futile and our existence inconsequential. It's easy to fall into the mindset that we're not making an impact, that nothing we do matters. However, this feeling of being useless can be dismantled, and it doesn't require grand gestures or sudden transformations. You don't need to wait for some external validation to rescue you from that pit. Instead, there's a fundamental path forward, grounded in responsibility, small daily actions, and most importantly, consistency. Here are 3 simple but powerful steps you can take today to start moving past those feelings of uselessness. Step 1. Reclaim your responsibility. The first step to overcoming feelings of uselessness is recognizing one essential truth. You have control over your actions and your choices. No matter how overwhelming life becomes or how insignificant you may feel, your choices are real and they shape the world around you. One of the most destructive mindsets a person can adopt is the idea that they have no responsibility. That life is something that happens to them, not something they can shape. If you believe this, then of course you'll feel useless. You've given away your agency, and in doing so, you've robbed yourself of your power. But here's the hard truth, one that many people are unwilling to face. Your life is your responsibility. It's not the government's, not society's, not your parents'. Every day, every choice, no matter how small, is part of the story you're writing. The first step in this journey is about reclaiming your responsibility. Sit down and write out the areas of your life where you feel you've been negligent, lazy, or passive. Acknowledge them. Maybe you've been neglecting your physical health, or perhaps you've let your relationships deteriorate. Whatever it is, face it head on. This process is uncomfortable because it forces you to confront your weaknesses. But weaknesses cannot be addressed until they are first acknowledged. As soon as you take responsibility, something powerful happens. You realize that because you are responsible, you also have the capacity to change things. This is the first building block of reclaiming your sense of purpose. Step 2. Commit to consistency. If you want to stop feeling useless, you can't wait for some magical moment of motivation to appear out of nowhere. Motivation is fleeting. It's here one day and gone the next. What you need instead is consistency. A commitment to taking action no matter how you feel in the moment. Today, your task is simple. Commit to small, manageable actions that you will repeat every day. Too many people make the mistake of thinking that big, dramatic changes are the key to feeling more useful, but that's a recipe for failure. Instead, start with something you can sustain. It could be as simple as making your bed in the morning, going for a 10-minute walk, or spending 5 minutes reading a book. These actions might seem insignificant, but what you're doing is training yourself to show up, even when you don't feel like it. Consistency builds competence. Competence builds confidence. And confidence builds a sense of purpose. If you can prove to yourself that you can show up and make small changes, then over time, those small changes compound into something meaningful. This process requires patience, but that's where real transformation happens. Not in sudden bursts, but in steady, consistent progress. Make a list of small, daily actions you will commit to starting today. These actions should be challenging enough to stretch you, but not so overwhelming that you won't stick with them. The key is to build momentum. Even if the progress feels slow, consistency is what gives it power. Step 3. Cultivate meaning through responsibility. By the time you reach this step, something will start to shift. You will have taken responsibility for your life, and you will have proven to yourself that you can take action, even in small ways. Now, it's time to connect those actions to a broader sense of meaning. Human beings are wired for purpose. Without a sense of purpose, we flounder, and feelings of uselessness creep in. But purpose isn't something that just appears out of thin air. It's something you build through consistent effort and responsibility. Ask yourself today, who benefits from my actions? This is crucial because it forces you to see that your daily actions have an impact on others, not just yourself. If you're working, ask yourself how your role contributes to the larger organization. If you're improving your health, think about how this benefits your family, friends, and loved ones. When you show up for others, no matter how small the gesture, you start to see that your actions ripple outward. You matter. Your effort matters. The primary way you find meaning is by shouldering responsibility. Not just for yourself, but for others. Maybe this means taking more responsibility at home, caring for someone who needs you, or being reliable at work. When you assume responsibility, you also assume power. The power to influence the world, even in small ways. This, in turn, gives your life meaning. The key to transformation, consistency, and responsibility. By the end of today, you may not feel like an entirely different person, but you will have laid the foundation for something far more important. The knowledge that you are not powerless, that you are capable of change, and that through small, consistent actions, you can build a life of purpose. The truth is, feeling useless isn't an external problem. It's an internal one. You don't need external validation to prove your worth. You need to show up every day, take responsibility for your life, and cultivate habits that give you meaning. If you continue this process for weeks, months, and years, the feeling of uselessness will be a distant memory. But it starts today. Today is about reclaiming your agency, committing to small, daily actions, and connecting those actions to a sense of purpose that extends beyond yourself. You have the power to stop feeling useless, but it won't happen overnight. It happens through deliberate, consistent action. Through facing your responsibilities head-on and showing up even when it's hard. The person you are tomorrow is shaped by the actions you take today. So, start now. Reclaim your responsibility. Commit to consistency. Find meaning in your actions. And over time, you will see that you are anything but useless. You are powerful, purposeful, and capable of creating real, lasting change.